Hey, welcome to Planet Hex. I'm Andrew Horn. This is a show where I talk about cult films, memorabilia, stuff on VHS, the nerd life in general, or I take you to cool places sometimes as well. So thank you very much for joining me. Do look out over the coming weeks for the start of the ad campaign for the revised version of VHS 8 My Brain. Yep, rocking the VHS is Happiness shirt. Shout out to 80s Video Shop and Lunchmeat for bringing this to the UK is hugely appreciated. I've always wanted one of these shirts, and the US postage has always put me off. So now it's in the UK, I had to get one of these. So tonight I'm going to look for horror magazines, so vintage horror magazines on eBay. Normally I look at VHS tapes themselves on eBay, but if any of you caught my VHS horror hangout the earlier in the week, I'm a big fan of the magazines themselves. So what I mean is examples here. So, whoops. Things like Warzone from the late 80s, early 90s. Yeah, this is the same stuff I brought up on the stream the other night. That's Doctor Who magazine. Fangoria, there's great Fangoria with Brain Scan on it. The early 90s video hit Brain Scan, love stuff like that. But there's always gaps in my collection, and there's always going to be something out there that I want to pick up. And you know I love eBay. I've got a cat about to knock my light over, so just in case, are you wanting to knock my light over? Please don't knock my light over, because I look dreadful in the dark. That's it. So let's go on the bay and check out what we've got in terms of vintage horror magazines. Now, I know there are some places around Nottingham where I can still get these. So I'm just going to put a misspelled horror magazine. I'll put horror magazine there. Now, what I primarily want is stuff like Warzone and Fangoria. Not really Dark Side, because I've had so many Dark Sides over the years. Wow. Okay. Straight away, I see an interesting one there. Job lot of horror magazines: Fangoria, Dark Side, and Film 4 Fright Fest guides. $12.50. That does look interesting. If there's good Fangorias and things there, that could be an interesting one there. I like the look of that. Oh, interesting job lot there. Screen Queens Illustrated. Yeah, I admit I had a couple of those when I was a teenager, because hey, Linnea Quigley. If you ever seen Night of the Demons, you know what I mean. Not Night of the Demons. Was it Night of the Demons? Yes, it was. Creepy. Voodoo. Monster World. So some of these are going further back. Something I would like to get hold of is a copy of Famous Monsters of Filmland, because I've never actually had one. I've never even read one. So it's much more of a US-based thing, of course. I know that was a huge influence on people in the movie fandom over in the US. But I never got to see one of those myself. Hot Schlock Horror, first printed in 1992, book signed by John Woolley. I'm going to have a look at that anyway, because that could be cool as well. Shudder. Oh, that's a new one from, of course, Shudder, the streaming service. Videos fanzine. So, fanzines is somewhere just at the edges of what I want to check out. I have a slight hankering to check out some fanzines throughout the years. So it's something I never did. I used to see them advertising the back of things like Fango and Warzone and things like that, but never really. What's that one? Fantastic Monsters of the Films. That's interesting, but never really checked many out. I had some of the VHS ones, like Blood Video, and of course the wonderful Lunchmeat magazine. Do check that out if you ever get the chance. Go check out Lunchmeat VHS and see the amazing stuff they offer. Wow, these picture show ones, 1932 from with Frankenstein. That looks really interesting. Remember Sam Hain being about. These are cool. These are really cool. Fangoria poster, vintage horror magazine, 5 posters included. £60.30 from the US. So it's way out of my price range, but I may have a look at that because that's cool. 1973 issue of Vampirella. Interesting. Dark Side there with Hardware on it. Hardware was a great movie. I've got that up on the shelf there on X Rental VHS. I need to revisit that soon. What proper grim, all British sort of feel to it. It's even got Lemmy showing up in it. There's a 90s Fango there with Virus on the front. These have gone up in price. Let's see what we've got here. These are really cool. So again, it's not just because of the covers or the features in them. One of the big things I love in these things is the ads. I love the classified ads. Oh, check this out. So brain scan on the front. We've got brain scan on the front of this issue, so video game related, and on the back we've got arcade. Ah, arcade. I have that. It's one of those up there on X Rental VHS, and I love that movie, the Full Moon movie Arcade. It's one of those films where I personally want to write a sequel to this. Hey, Charles Band, Full Moon, I want to write a sequel to this, and I will do it within your budgets. So just putting that out there, because you know, you never know what will happen. Probably that will never probably happen, but I would like to have it out there. I still want to write for Full Moon. I would still like to write a sequel to Arcade and make it work for you. We've got issue 300 there. I've got down here. This was a cool find over the last few weeks. Fangoria 100. I think I have shown this on another video, which has some amazing interviews in it. I've read through this. Clive Barker, Stephen King, Robert Englund, Vincent Price, John Carpenter, Wes Craven, Sam Raimi, David Cronenberg, Tobe Hooper, James Cameron, Tom Savini, and Peter Cushing. That was so well worth £5. Honestly, it was such a good buy, that one. These are great. Oh, there's a Video World there. Now there's the, please excuse the lady on the front. The people do talk about that still quite a lot. Oh, there's a Fango with Videodrome there, and very fondly, because while the back of it, the classifieds were for rather ruder things, the content of that magazine was pretty solid. I am quite surprised at the price of a lot of these though, because I've bought some for like £5, £4.50, that sort of price recently, but some of these are quite expensive. Just in terms of what I'd expect, there's a classic with Ozzy Osbourne on the front from the Bark at the Moon video. Yes. Monster World. Let's just get to the bottom of this page and then we can go and... oh, there's an old copy of Necronomicon there. Careful, dude. Don't knock the light over. One I remember reading a lot of in my my comic shop days. No, I've not seen that one. That's only $2.99. Was Video Watchdog, the little A5 cult magazine. That always seemed to do well in the comic shop. They always had an audience, and especially me. I really enjoyed reading that one. That was a great one. We've got a Famous Monsters from Filmland there, and that's in the UK. It's £16. But I do miss magazines. I'm missing magazines a lot more lately. I think one of the reasons is because tapes have become really hard to come by in the wild. The prices of them are going up, so I'm starting to branch out into looking at other things on eBay and Facebook Marketplace. Things like this don't come up that often on Facebook Marketplace in terms of things like Fango and Gore Zone, because it generally... Nuts, that's not a horror magazine. It's generally things like Dark Side would come up, or things like that. But it's ooh, 5 Fangos there. Let's see. Let's have a look at the ones I've got open here. Okay, the Keep there. I enjoyed the Keep. That was fun. I watched that recently on. Again, that was on Prime. So this interests me greatly. Let's have a look at these. What's in this lot? So we've got some Dark Sides at the back, some folk horror. We've got a Shivers with an Amityville feature in there. That's the remake, isn't it? So what have we got here? Nice. So like Bride of Reanimated there. Film for Fright Fest guide. Another one there, and another one. We've got Fango with Hollow Man in it. I mean, that was quite a shocking thing at the time, Hollow Man. 28 days later, so this is a little later than I would normally like, but still, there's nostalgia value here. The Cell, I've got Cell on VHS up there. Great movie, that holds up well despite the effects having dated so badly. Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2, 13 Ghosts. Oh god, AVP, no. Hellboy. And this is a bit of a shame because these are more recent than I would really like in my collection. That's a shame because that is a pretty good batch for that amount of money. So, you know, that's cool. Let's see what we've got here. Whoa, yes. So we've got the Shining mini-series in this Fango. What else is in that? Scream, so that's dating it like 96 or 97 or so. Stendhal Syndrome. Oh man, Stendhal Syndrome. Acquired Taste, and no, it's not for everyone, but I really like that movie. It has Asia Argento in it. It's a nice giallo thriller with some very striking visuals and a really cool hook. Stendhal Syndrome is all about I think she's a police officer, Asia Argento, and she suffers from Stendhal Syndrome, which is when you are frozen in place by the sheer beauty of a work of art that you see in front of you. So that's an interesting one. What's on this one? The American Werewolf in Paris. Thank you. Mimic. Godzilla. I know what you did last summer and you'll pay for it. That sounds very threatening. And Wishmaster. You know, the first Wishmaster, excellent. Second Wishmaster, watchable. Wishmaster 3 and 4. Why? No. So, on this Fango, on the end, we've got making MIB. We've got some feature on Alien there. From the Ride of a Scream, and I Know What You Did Last Summer. Oh, it's all about Alien Resurrection. Yeah, we know how that turned out. Mimic. X-Files feature. And, of course, live-action Spawn. There's the Violator on the front of that. It was of its time. I didn't mind it. So, let's have a look at this. Hot Schlock Horror. Is this a horror movie magazine? Looks like it. Book even. What is this? I've not heard of this, and I really should have. I'm going to... that looks awesome. So I'm going to watch that just in case. But these things are real time capsules. They're not just trying to promote movies. They're trying to give fans something to... oh, that's ended. Something to enjoy and to cherish, and give them something that was a nice look behind the scenes of these things being made. That looks amazing, from 1932. Not something I would want in my collection. Again, I'm more 80s and 90s, but that is really interesting. Okay, let's see what's in this Fangoria poster magazine, which is US dollars $74.99, approximately 60 quid. So, 10 disgusting foldouts, special splatter salute, Friday the 13th Part 6, Warhead Rex, Lost Boys, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Videodrome, Dawn of the Dead, Aliens, Evil Dead 2. So that's an interesting one to look at. It's got the exploding head from Dawn of the Dead in the corner, so you can't go wrong with that. What else have we got here? Virus, Blade, not one I'd really want. That's getting a bit late for me personally. This is sort of era I like. This Fango had Tales from the Crypt with the evil Santa on it. We got here Stepfather 2. He ain't Cosby. That's not a bad thing. Ladies from Friday the 13th, the Friday the 13th TV series. That was a disappointment. If you wanted some Jason, not one I'm really going to buy, I don't think. Let's have a look here. So Fango 300 was Robert Englund, George Romero, Eli Roth, Gene Simmons, Tony Todd, Lamberto Bava, and so on. When is this from? Oh, February 2011. Be cool to have, but not what I'm desperate for. However, this has got Videodrome, Bride of the Monster, Scalps, and a Tom Savini piece. I am going to watch that. Let's see what we've got here. This Fango. I always used to see this one advertised, but never had this issue. I've had a lot of Fangos and Gore Zones in my life, but never had this one with Ozzy on the front. I love the Bark at the Moon video. In fact, I did once get to interview the guitarist from that video, Jake E. Lee. I think that was Jake E. Lee in that one, wasn't it? On the video. When he did a... was it Red Dragon Cartel? He did the first album for that, and I got to interview him, and that was a pleasure. So he's a great guitar player, very nice man as well. Face bursting with the Ramones, and Screen Greats pullouts, posted 10, Twilight Zone the movie. So that does look good. Oh, it's a magazine called Rock Video. I may have to look into that. I'm on a big 80s music spree at the moment. So this phone goes for $2.99. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Inside the Fly 2, we've got Nightlife, Hellraiser 3, Looks of Blood, Fly 2, Horror Show, Leviathan, Your Guts Float, Fast Times at Zombie High. I have not had that one, and I quite like the look of that. There's nothing on there that really grabs me on the front, but I think that would have some quality adverts in it. So I'm gonna bid on that. Let's that's not a bid, Andrew. Put £4 on that and see what happens, because I fancy that. That looks fun. And lastly, this Famous Monsters of Filmland. This seems to be the creme de la creme of horror movie magazines, and that is cool. That is really cool. Of course, it was had the involvement of Forrest J. Ackerman, a bit of a hero of mine. If you don't know who Forrest Ackerman is, I welcome you to going down a YouTube and Wikipedia rabbit hole while you discover the joys of Forrest Ackerman. What a cool man. No more images of it. I would prefer more images of that if I was going to bid on it. I would want to have a look through the sort of thing and just the kitsch joy of that. But it's nice to know that those things are available in the UK. So that's a nice little look around things. I do really enjoyed that. So I need to do another video on some of my horror magazine archive. Dark Side of Elvira on it. Lots of posters and things. Because I've got rid of some lately because I'm just trying to be a bit more careful with the amount I have, because it can get crazy. I mean, there were times where all this space was just filled with tapes, and I only wanted about a quarter of them, and then I stupidly sold that quarter as well. So I do really regret that. I've always regretted that. But oh well. That was fun. That was a really fun look around at what is available on eBay there in terms of vintage horror magazines. I've got a bid on one, so you never know. Maybe I'll have to take you through that in a future video. That was really fun. Really enjoyed doing that. So, thank you for joining me for this episode of Planet Hex, where I've looked at some vintage horror movie magazines. There's lots more to come. I want to do some searches on stuff to do with the video stores themselves. I want to see if there's any artifacts from the video store era. That would be a really fun one. And I want to look at more on Facebook Marketplace and the the Internet Archive. I've got some plans to take you around the Internet Archive video library there, because I'm going to make something cool for later in the year. But I'm Andrew Horn. Thank you for watching. Please do like and subscribe if you like this sort of thing, where I talk about VHS and cult movies and things like that. In the week, I do my short episodes, Planet Hex Review Time, and it is really appreciated that you are here. Thank you for being on this journey with me. It really is appreciated. I know a lot of people on YouTube say that, but I know I don't get many views, but I really appreciate every single one that I do get. It is a lot of fun to do these things for you, and I'm very grateful that you're here with me. So I'm Andrew Horn. Thank you for watching this episode of Planet Hex.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and validate my existence.